Hello and welcome to the second video for today. Today we're talking about a neat little trick called 0BC. And what is it? What is 0BC? 0BC is a thing that is given to this strategy, trick, I don't know. It's we have a bunch of this one buff on one unit to the point where they have their super brave burst at the start of every turn, at the start of every wave, at the start of every quest. They just always have their brave burst, their super brave burst, because they don't need any Brave Crystals to fill it up because they have their Brave Crystal cost reduction at 100%. So it's just free SPB. And this works out very nicely because when you overdrive a unit with 0BC, they have their ultimate Brave Burst just ready to go immediately. It is great. It's super useful for individual units. There's not much content nowadays that you want 0BC for the entire squad, but it's incredibly easy to get 0BC. Especially in the present moment because of the hero structure ticket we have going on right now. So how do we get it? What buff are we looking for? We are looking for BC cost reduction or reduces Brave Burst gauge needed for Brave Burst or something like that. Something along those lines. On the wiki it's called BC cost reduction. So if we go over there really quick, just pop on over here. We go to the search bar. Type in list of units with BC cost reduction, and it pulls up a list of units with BC cost reduction on their leader skill, on their extra skill, including party wide, and on enhancements. So this page is super useful if you want to figure out how to get 0BC for at least one unit. A lot of these leaders are going to be pretty much what you're going to use for that. If you notice, a lot of these leaders are good for mono elements as well. Kayena, Asha, Rhine, Aoife, Mary, all of them are good for mono elements. But some of these are good because they have generic buffs. Cindy's good generic buff, has good generic buffs, Galeen does, Bjorn and Linden do, Armighty does, just as examples. So yeah, you can use some of these units for mono elements BC cost reduction, because of the leader skill, or you can use them for generic. I personally like to use Galeen because she is also a nuking unit, so if I'm using generic, I'm going for Galeen. If I'm getting mono element, well, I'm probably using the best leads, to be honest. So yes, with that in mind, let's build us a squad. I will be using this page to build my squad. One thing to note is the extra skill party wide. There are a handful of units that have party wide BC cost reduction on their extra skill. This is also very useful for achieving 0BC for either one unit or the entire squad. So again, I will be using this list to accomplish 0BC. If you notice, Asha and Andaria both have 10% for all allies on their extra skill, and they also, Asha and Andaria also have 30% on their leader skill, making them the best choices to get party-wide 0BC. So let's switch back over to the game, and let us compile a squad, shall we? So, as I mentioned, there are units that provide 0BC, and there are also items and L-gifts that provide BC cost reduction. So, as I mentioned, Cindy is a good idea for a date, but we're going to be switching over to Asha. The content that you want party-wide 0BC is not super difficult, so I can go with an Asha lead for party-wide for a mix of elements, and I probably will here. So Asha lead gives me 40%, 30 from her leader skill, 10 from her extra skill. It's very nice. So if you have Asha lead and you take either an Asha or Andaria friend, you have 80% BC cost reduction from the get-go. Just for having a friend and a lead, especially for one, yes, but nonetheless. So let's work under the assumption that I'm going to have one of those two leads for my friend. So that means I need 20% more BC cost reduction. Now, one option I have here is I can either, we're going to go back to the wiki here, list of items with BC cost reduction. And this will give you a bunch of spheres that have BC cost reduction. The best one being Ragnarok Edict, probably one of the last spheres you get before DMG, Divine Master Gate, because it is just all pain to get. So you need to get like what, 10 million merit points, I think. It's something absurd like that. But if you have Asha Lead and Asha Friend, you just need 20%. So any of these spheres you see here that have 20% or more will get you 0 BC just with those 2 leads. And there are a lot of options here. Some of these are really good, and some of these I do recommend you have either way. Palya is one of those spheres I recommend. I believe Orphira, yep, Orphira is on here as well. Ladmiraz is fairly easy to get. Terex Bloodlust, you already heard me talk about that in the RC7 Needs Spheres video. Answers Wilds, you get that from, what's it called? Frontier Hunter. Yeah, so a bunch of these, like, a lot of these are available right now. You can easily go get them. Some of these will take some time to get, and some of these just are not available. Fairy Heart is not available anymore, but it is actually copied over, I think, with Faded Heart. I think Faded Heart winds up being the Fairy Heart equivalent from Frontier Spire. So yeah, a bunch of these spheres. You can use one of these spheres with those 2 leads, and you get 0 BC on 1 unit. A common strategy you will see is Legato, one of my favorite units, with Ragnarok Edict, because that just gets him 0 BC from the get-go, baby. You put Ragnarok Edict on him without any specific need. Just Legato with Ragnarok Edict, and you have 0 BC on him. It is disgusting, but beautiful at the same time. So yeah, so let's go back to making that squad, shall we? Let's do that. So Asha Lead, we're going to assume Asha Friends. So if I wanted to, let's do party wide, as I mentioned. So we want to, I'm going to go back to that page of units with BC cost reduction. Go to party wide. And I have options here. I have options. I have almost every single one of the units available that provide 10% on extra skill. I think the only ones I don't have are Roy, Andaria, and Kinkaneki. But I have everyone else. So I have Azius, so I can put Azius on there. That would give me a fire unit. As I mentioned, I don't have Roy, and I also don't have a second Azius. I'm at 90% right now. Another really cool thing actually is if you have, let's see if I have one of these units as a Lord type. No, okay. So here's what I'm gonna do. We're gonna filter out. We want all of them, but we want just Lord, and it's sort by rarity. Here we go. My Aubrey is a Lord type. So Aubrey provides 10% BC cost reduction by himself through his extra skill. I'm actually, again, assuming I'm rolling with Asha Friend, I'm actually over the required amount needed right now because Lord provides 5% reduction to BB activation costs for all allies. That's another phrasing of it. So I'm at, right now, 105% BC cost reduction. Going over 100% does absolutely nothing, but it is, having Lord +3 is actually fairly nice if you're just off by 5%. If you're off by 5% on a unit, a Omni +3 Lord unit would actually help you out there immensely. But the way that types work, that squad-wide buff only stacks once. So you can only get this one time. If you have another Lord at Omni +3, you still only get 5% reduction. Not 10%, only 5. But yes, this is an option I can go with. So I now have 100% BC cost reduction, which means my last 2 slots can go to anyone I want. So, seeing as I can go to anyone I want, let's be ridiculous here. Let's put, right, I still have Lord as the only type. Let's put my favorite unit, Legato, on there. And then, just for some splash, let's throw in a water unit. I'd say we need mitigation, but Legato's gonna have it either way. Doubled over from myself. I think my Legato at this point has like 205% BC cost reduction in total. Because he has 55 as is, I think. No, he doesn't have Ladmiraz, or no, he has that on there. But he doesn't have Accessor chip, so yeah. This squad right here works for 0 BC. Or if I wanted another nuking unit, I could put Mary on there. So yeah, this is a very strong squad actually. So what do you want to have party-wide 0BC for? Honestly, I would say like the only bit of content that you want party-wide 0BC for is just to clear the first like what 14 stages of Frontier Spire, and you're good to go. I think from stage 15 and onwards, or maybe it's 14 and onwards, I forget which it is. You'd actually want to have specialized squads, but for the first like over half of it, 0BC party-wide is a good idea because it just helps you clear very quick and you don't need to worry about anything at all. So it's why I use party-wide 0BC for. But for singular units, it's depending on the unit, it's fairly easy to get 0BC. Some units actually really want it because, you know, if it's a unit like Legato who has extra action on UBB, they really want to have Master of the Hunt's Elgith and 0BC. I'll probably make a video talking about this strategy that I use for my Legato specifically, so you guys will know about that as well. But for those who already know, you know why you want 0BC for it. Let's just say his UBB gets busted with 0BC. It's usable without 0BC, but it's just so easy to have 0BC on Legato. There's no reason not to. Absolutely no reason not to. But yeah, that's how you get 0BC. Let me show it off in action, party-wide. So let's go into just any old quest. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to complete it. I just want to show it off. All of my units are going to have their Super Brave Burst immediately if I have access to Asha or Andaria Friend. Let's hope I do. If I don't, I will be cutting out until I do. We just want Asha. Asha and Daria. How about that? I will see you guys in just a moment because I gotta refresh until I have 0BC. Here we go. Here's an Asha friend. So we're gonna take Asha in with us. So as I mentioned, both Ashas provide 40% BC cost reduction, 30% from their leader skill, 10% from their extra skill. Both Azius and Aubrey provide 10% from their extra skill for all allies. And then Legato and Mary are on here just because the flex. Why not? If I really wanted to flex, I could have put Jin on there, but I'm already flexing hard as is. So yes. Why does that Asha not have... Oh, because that's Victor Chant. Right. I should talk about that too. So, much like there is BC cost reduction, there are also spheres that I will be talking about in a different video, that increase the amount of BC you need. Victory Chant is one of those spheres. Victory Chant makes it so you need 15% more BC to have your BB gauge. So that's why this Asha does not have 0BC, because as I mentioned, we have with the two Ashas 80% right there. Azius and Aubrey both provide 10%, so that's 100% right there. Aubrey being a lord provides another 5%, so Asha still needs that extra 10%, which we could get if I brought on a unit other than Mary or Legato, someone else who has 10% BC cost reduction. So someone like Chutong, Hypeia, Ptah, one of those units. So even with Victory Chant, if I had one of those units on the squad instead of Mary or Legato, yes, this Asha would have 0BC as well. But because I don't, no, we don't have it. So yes, that was actually a beautiful choice right there, because it means I could explain that. So yes, there are some spheres, some of the RC7 spheres that you craft using the Omphaluses and the stones do have increased BC cost. So yeah, be wary of that. It's part of the reason why you can't use Victory Chant on Legato all the time. Because Victory Chant does have 15% BC cost increase. Yes, with that, thank you guys once again for visiting the Grand Guide Library. Links to all of our off YouTube stuff in the description down below, Twitter, Discord, Twitch, and we will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.